That was good.
So since we're doing
And
pre-show, and we didn't get to talk about last week, that Sonic the
here's some
Hedgehog
side
trailer,
boob.
It was good.
Sonic, yeah, I liked it.
I loved it. Knuckles did not sound like Idris Elba, even though it is Idris Elba.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
weird.
Did anybody happen to catch the latest Matrix trailer?
No.
Well,
Ooh.
yes, where so the latest Matrix trailer is pitching it that Trinity is the one this time around, or has been.
This whole time.
It could very well may throw us for a loop, but the way this last trailer showed was that it is basically what the Oracle told Trinity, that she would fall in love with Neo. In turn, is basically that she's actually the one. So it harkens back to the most recent trailer, was just nothing but Easter eggs also for the previous three movies. Like me and Leia were watching, pointing out, oh man, we remember this, and this. It opens
Right down to the Mr. Anderson.
Oh God, yes, the new Agent Smith, calling him Mr. Anderson. The trailer opens up almost with Trinity in the same room she did in the Matrix. Just a desk, chair, and then cops coming in. And we are silent.
Yes, we are.
Welcome to the ASMR portion of Super Geeks.
I like this meme. I found an amazing meme.
Oh, Ross, you just so as we do the whole ASMR thing, Justice just goes and starts licking his microphone. That was good. I'm excited. I'm excited for the new Sonic trailer or the new Sonic movie. Jim Carrey is back to his form that we grew up with in the 90s. Not that he ever strayed. He did great with his dramatic roles.
Well, yeah, drugs are a hell of a thing.
But they are.
See, that's the thing. He doesn't really do drugs.
No,
that's just him being mentally insane, like a few of us here.
So he's the perfect Robotnik, and he is real. I mean, talk about mustache twirling villain. I thought that was Dustin Hoffman as Hook. No, it's Jim Carrey as Robotnik. So it was definitely good. Leia loves Tails. That's her favorite character from the Sonic universe. So when she saw Tails, she was hooked. Of course, Sonic is mine. I grew up with Sonic, so I'm one of those that picks Sonic over Mario. I grew up with Sonic first before I played Mario.
It's me, Mario.
Sonic won that fight for me first.
So here's a spicy meme.
Uh-oh.
A lot of people believe the most frequently washed body part in 2021 were the hands.
Oh, no,
but
what was
in fact, it was the brain.
Why did it not share the damn video link?
Oh, damn it. That's actually dad joke level.
Stupid.
That was good.
I did say it was a spicy meme.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
And then I did this.
Oh, no. Oh.
There you go, Ross. 10 million followers.
Hey, Justin?
Hmm?
Oh!
Hey, Ross.
Oh, no. Here it comes.
They're literally just going to fight with each other.
All right.
Welcome to the Super Geeks musical screens. Oh, man.
I could be He-Man or I could be Skeletor. It's up to you.
Last week you did Skeletor when you said I have.
I did both last week.
But on the show, when we started the pre-show, now you did a Skeletor.
I mean, I can wield this power like Superman, like He-Man, or Skeletor. Speaking of, I didn't know that the second part's released this past week.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ross, Master
yeah.
of the Universe
yeah.
dropped.
Part 2 of South Park post-COVID released this week.
That too.
Oh, I gotta watch that. I watched the first part. It's pretty good.
I made the joke. South Park did what the Simpsons never could. They grew up.
And then they'll go right back to being kids next week.
Oh my god. There's another meme. There's another great meme.
Oh, no.
It's David Bowie as Jareth from The Labyrinth sitting at the Crowder table. And it says, "I was a better babysitter than Sarah. Changed my mind."
Oh.
The best meme I saw this week was a meme gift. A mutual friend of sons of mine, Saria, she's a streamer and former Marine. She got sent crayon-shaped bubblegum.
Mm-hmm. Because the joke is Marines eat crayons.
That's great. That's fucking great.
Like, that's a military joke that the Marines eat crayons.
Better than what the sailors eat.
I don't know. Some of those canned beans are pretty good.
Having come from a military family, I know that joke.
It's all right. I'm a former submariner. I've heard it all and worse.
Yeah, that.
But then, no, are you qualified? Are you a seaman, or because you were in a submarine? Are you a seaman, or is that are they on the ship?
All sailors begin as seamen.
Hey, that's how life starts.
Yep.
I mean, there's low-hanging fruits, and then there's that.
It's the wonderful life of a seaman.
That's always why it's easiest just
plowing its way through a hole.
That's why it's always just good, just a better option to kick a guy in the balls. It's low hanging fruit.
You know what's funny though?
Balls hang low.
Because I've had my uncle and what?
Here's another spicy meme.
Uh-oh.
I stand behind Alec Baldwin because no way in hell am I standing in front of him. Added the counter.
No. I still got the counter. We keep it, over here off to the side. I just gotta find it. I think we are.
Guys. So here's a little bit of Trek news. Prodigy premiered tonight on Nickelodeon.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Okay, this isn't a spicy meme, but this is a funny one. I tagged Sean in this earlier. It's a stormtrooper sitting on Santa's lap. You'll shoot your eye out with that. Not even if I tried. Okay, so you guys saw that. So did Sean get himself a custom figure made? Is that Sean? Is that figure?
He doesn't remember ordering it, and I'm wondering if maybe Hayden got a hold of his credit card. Because
because I thought when he's like, I don't remember ordering this, but it looks very much like Sean. But I also don't know, like.
Yeah, I don't remember anybody that looks like that, so that's why I'm thinking it's a custom figure. Somebody probably sent it to him to fuck with him.
Possibly.
So, if you guys want to see something disgusting,
I've seen
I've
seen most disgusting things.
I mean, we've seen Alec Peters, so I mean, how disgusting can we get?
This is a wine store? Is that what this is?
That is a crypto mining
Oh yeah,
Never.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Okay. Well, those are all
graphics.
graphics cards.
I would go through that and knock every single one of them fucking shelves over.
So this is what all the bots have been doing, buying all the graphics cards.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. I would knock every single one of them fucking shelves over.
No, just
And you know what's
run
funny?
through there with a high-powered magnet.
Well, see, the interesting thing is, it looks like it's also set up in a legitimate server room, like for something else, for some other business. So, whatever that business is, if they're not making anything off of those, I'd be pretty pissed off.
Well, here's the thing: the guy I've got the video muted, but the guy's talking about expanding.
So this is crypto, you said?
Yeah, this is all crypto mining.
So funny thing about that crypto mining is causing more damage to the environment than fucking cars right now.
Yeah.
Or NFTs.
No, NFTs are just as much part of the problem because they're also run through crypto.
Yeah.
They're
That's not
tracked by
even
the
that.
blockchain.
That's not even that. The NFTs themselves are wholly a weird fucking like scam.
Yeah, it's incredibly predatory.
Oh,
All right, let's get the show on the road before we bring it too far down.
Okay.
Well, we've already been down the rabbit hole, so there's no going back after this. So we are going to do a Christmassy intro since the holidays are coming up. I haven't had time to edit anything, so we are just going to do bare balls 30-second holiday countdown. Here we go. In just a minute, since it uploads.
30 seconds, he says.
Dun
I
da
just
dee
said
da da dun dun doo da da dun
All
da dee da da dun.
right.
Dun dun doo da da
Dun
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 da
dun
da.
dun dun dun.
Star Trek Discovery. Take 2 goes on a legal rampage, and the actor list just keeps getting worse. All this and more tonight on The Real Super Geeks. And welcome to tonight's episode of the Real Super Geeks podcast. On this, the 17th of December, 2021. My name is Ross, Live, Love, Play, the Eyebrows of Doom himself, and your wonderful host for tonight. Joining me, of course, is my wondrous array of co-hosts, the ever wonderful, both uplifting and knee-kicking group in the world. Starting off with Justin. How you doing this week?
Doing good. Got the new setup rolling. Been pretty busy week. Had a bit of medical stuff going on and just getting everything ready, to do the show properly this week. So we should be in for a fun ride tonight, as Ross found out pre-show.
Yeah, I was feeling pretty down, and Justin managed to pick me up quite nicely.
Yes. With Sun's
because we are taking away Ross's nerd.
That he still has not watched the season finale of Lucifer. Come on, watch the final season. Come on, take a week.
Can you add a couple more hours to the day, maybe? Come babysit
Take
me for a
them.
while.
I'm working on it.
Send my wife to a spa.
You just need to work
Oh,
at
that's
Men in
easy.
Black. Remember, they have a 36-hour work week.
And I see someone has redeemed Stretch. So, well, the rest of you guys, well, Greg, since you got this Stretch going, why don't you tell us about your week as well?
Week has been going good.
As Ross face falls down.
Right.
Hey,
Week
Dia,
is going
good
good.
to see you too.
Passed all my classes. My final grades were posted. So another 3.0 semester. I don't know how I'm doing it. But I also
Nerd.
I also have a new setup. I have a brand new computer in front of me that is running 3 times as fast as my old one. So there should be no lag issues. I'm happy with it.
Windows 11 is amazing, ain't it?
Yeah. So looking forward to tonight's show. It'll be a fun one.
Oh, thank you, Greg. Son, how you doing this week?
This week's kind of been super busy, weirdly. Doctor's appointments, lab work, and the new war dropped for Warframe.
Ugh, Warframe. I
Yeah.
forgot a lot about that. I need.
Not only did the new war drop for Warframe, Destiny 2's holiday event thing launched this week, so there's that too.
You couldn't pay me to play this Destiny.
Apparently, I haven't logged into Destiny 2 yet this week, but I'm hoping that this week at Bungie thing that they do every week, I'm hoping what they showed off as a new Sparrow is actually like obtainable through the holiday event instead of having to purchase it with silver, because it's literally the Polar Express engine as a Sparrow. So I want to get that.
Well, as for me, a typical day at work, and tonight, one of the reasons we started a little late, apologies, we decided to get the tree decorated tonight. Got the kiddo involved in the decorations for the first time. It was a lot of fun. Got my golden TOS Enterprise on the tree, as well as the Kirk versus Gorn battle, and the wife gave me a Mirror Spock ornament this year.
Interesting. Well, at least the kiddo didn't break any of them, right, Leia? Right, Leia? I know you're watching.
Is she watching? I don't know if she's watching right now.
See, then now Leia can start joining us since Greg has 2 computers.
My HP is currently still being worked on. My friend gave me this one. This one's mine now, but then he kept my old one. He's going to be upgrading the RAM, so he's going to take out my terabyte hard drive, lower it to 200 gigabyte hard drive, and make it a 16 gig RAM computer.
Why? What's he going to do with the hard drive?
I don't know. I don't need a terabyte on the laptop anyway. But he's just going to take away the hard drive and install more RAM. He builds computers. I don't know. He's going to do his thing.
Okay.
I take the terabyte space and turn it into a portable hard drive, which is very easy to do.
I'm pretty sure that's what he's doing.
Okay, that's a hell of a downgrade.
I forgot to put a bit of news on the Trello this week.
Fired.
Oh.
Apparently Nintendo has patented a few gaming mechanics that we've seen kind of shown off in Breath of the Wild 2 trailers.
Yes.
Nice.
Including the passing through solid objects, like what we saw with Link do in the going
trailer,
up to the Skylands, and apparently using a bow from midair, like firing a bow while in the air.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you can patent that?
I don't know. I mean, you can apply for a patent in that, but it doesn't necessarily.
I didn't think you could do that because, like, you do stuff like that in bunches of games.
Well, I mean, it's like suing someone. You can apply for a patent for a thing. Doesn't necessarily mean you'll get it.
Nintendo's not even really an American-based company, though, is it? I thought they were strictly.
You, as far as I'm aware, you would have to apply. You would apply for an international patent.
Okay.
You don't necessarily have to do a patent by country.
All right. Well, let's circle into our first main topic for the night, and that is Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery.
Star Trek what? Star Trek
Season
what?
4, Episode 6, The Examples. Three ships observing the DMA observe it to simply vanish. It disappears into nothingness and reappears light years away. This confounds everyone who is researching the anomaly, and they have no other determination other than it can be something that is artificially created, because nothing natural behaves like that they're aware of.
And it literally just did the thing that Stamets was theorizing it was.
Yep.
Wormholed away.
As such, its new position puts many other habitable areas in jeopardy.
Mhm.
So the Discovery is given command of the flotilla that is going to evacuate potentially endangered communities. Wow, I'm not in a good spot tonight.
You'll be okay.
But I'm gonna keep trying.
You should really put some tang in that
Hey,
one.
hey,
That'll help.
hey, Ross.
Yeah.
Ross.
That doesn't help, Justin. Not at all. In fact, it might make it worse. Anyway, Captain Burnham is given command of the effort and Saru command of the Discovery for the mission. Upon arrival, they get in touch with the magistrate of the colony, a former Emerald Chain settlement inhabited by the Akali, where they discover that there are still 4 people who are not in the evacuation zone. These are known as the examples, lawbreakers, who are placed in prison as an example to others so that no one commits crimes. Otherwise, they suffer the fate of the examples. Meanwhile, an eccentric scientist is brought on board to help in the observations of the DMA, a man who is inexplicably more abrasive and more annoying than Stamets is at his worst. Who knew? He starts off the bat by grating into everybody's nerves, even provoking Saru, of all people. Something you don't want to do for someone who has knife gills.
Yeah, see, that's what I was surprised at. It's like, why didn't like, it almost seemed like he was intentionally trying to scare Saru into flexing the things.
That's probably exactly what he was doing. Trying to excite him, get him into the heat of the moment. And additionally, Dr. Culber finds himself in a crisis and reaches out to, oh, damn it, what's the doctor's name again? I keep forgetting. Kovac.
Damn it. Kovac, yes.
And reaches out to Dr. Kovac for guidance.
See, I don't understand. Okay, so he's actually like a therapist? Is that the thing?
He's a man of many talents, apparently.
Yeah.
Because I swear to God, I keep getting Section 31 vibes from this guy for no fucking reason.
I heard something completely different, but it completely fits. But I'll get to that at the end of our discussion.
Okay.
So, what is the commander of an entire operation to do when she finds out that 4 people need to be rescued? She defers command to someone else and goes to rescue them herself.
Because it's the Wild West of Star Trek. I mean, we are talking literally pre-Kirk, the Wild West of the Federation that Janeway talked about. So yeah, of course she would.
So Burnham and Book go off to rescue these prisoners and find a way to get them out, even though the guards and everyone who knows how to operate the prison have fled a long time ago. Former Emerald Chain, go figure. She arrives to find a bunch of beetles, weaponized. They are overcome quickly enough, but they manage to get inside, talk to each of the prisoners, free them, and have a crisis of conscience and morality. They don't want to be locked up. Most of them were locked up for petty crimes, simple stuff, but made examples of to deter more crime. After a little bit of sea lawyering, Burnham finds a way to offer them sanctuary and gets all but one to come on board. The one and only guilty man in Shawshank Prison. Nobody?
I got it.
Okay. He confesses to Michael after she gets everyone evacuated and gives her a family chronicle and passes it to her in the hopes that she will keep it safe and help redeem his greatest faults and regret. He chooses to stay behind as the DMA's energy wipes the colony from the face of the universe. Meanwhile, the colony is evacuated safely. But aboard Discovery, things grow more tense as the Rysian scientist, something we haven't seen before, manages to find a radical solution to the problem. That if the DMA is artificial, something must be controlling it. Using food and a bunch of other ridiculous metaphors, he manages to convince both Stamets and Saru to go along with his mad scheme, with everyone's favorite engineer, Jet Reno, behind them to make things work, to bring their mad schemes into reality. Their experiment is a resounding success, and they're on the cusp of getting everything they need. But they're also about 2 seconds away from destroying the ship, so Saru pulls the plug. Someone's got to be responsible. At the end of the day, the world is saved. The one prisoner stays behind, creating a minor rift between Burnham and Book. Burnham believed that he had the right to choose, while Book believes that everyone should be saved no matter what. And in a parting moment, Book and the Rysian scientist have a brief moment together before going back to doing what he does, pissing everybody off. And Stamets and Culber share a kind moment, as Culber finally admits that he is in a little bit over his head and hasn't fully come to terms with the fact that he died and came back to life.
We all knew that.
You're very, very soft, Justin.
Oopsie, sorry. We all knew that was going to be a thing.
Well, of course. That's not something you just get over.
Nope.
So, Justin, what did you think of the episode?
I thought it was actually pretty good. It wasn't too quick. Some of the Discovery episodes had had a problem in the past with being a little, too quick to, jump to the next thing. It actually, kind of hung around a little bit. Got, let us take everything on in before moving on to the next part of the story. Pacing was good. No Dara this week, I noticed. No Dara, no...
Well, we were
Nope.
expecting no Tilly.
Yeah. So, I'm thinking this new guy that's come on is a perfect replacement for Tilly. I mean, they got to have an antagonist. We bring him and Tig into the mix, and, it'll probably be a perfect mix, I think. So, we'll see how it works out going forward. Because apparently, Mary Wiseman's not leaving the show. She's just, gone for a bit. So we'll see however they do it all, however they do this for the rest of the season. Because how many episodes do we have this season?
12, 10?
So we're on
less than
what,
last
6?
season.
Yeah. So we're on 6?
We're on 5.
5. So yeah, we still got a little bit of time for them to work things out. But yeah, they laid out a lot of things about the DMA this week that, they mentioned a bunch of races, the Q. It's like they were shooting down fan theories one by one. They're like, it's not the Q, it's not the Metrons, it's not this, it's not this. So apparently the Q have not been seen for 600 years at this point. So who knows what those little troublemakers are up to. Maybe we'll get a Q visit sometime later on in the season. But yeah. Yeah, I thought it was good. I can't wait to see what it got in store next week. And I have my own theories what the DMA is. I'm gonna just to save time. I'm gonna throw a theory out there. It'd be great. We're kind of pitching before the show that we think it was an experiment done by somebody in the Federation that maybe they were trying to, round the burn. They were trying to, solve the problem of travel, and it just got out of hand. That's what the theory is. That, or it could be an advanced alien race that was trying to solve transportation problems, and you just can't quite get the experiment under control. I don't think it's really something malicious because it's almost like it's trying to, avoid major populated areas. It's not trying to go on direct attack course to Earth or to any of the major planets. It's trying to avoid major population centers, or at least give enough time to evacuate people now.
Yeah, except the first one.
Well, first one, nobody knew what was at first, so, oopsies. Accidents happen. Maybe they didn't destroy it after all. Maybe they saved everybody on it, and they'll find everybody that was on the planet alive and well. Who knows?
All right.
But there's Star Trek. People die and come back all the time. So.
All right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Justin. Son, what did you think of the episode?
So I have some short notes this week again.
All right.
Uh-oh.
So we got a shout out to Stowe and a couple of the books this episode, because the surviving remnants of the Iconians is a major Star Trek Online plot point.
Oh yeah.
So Beetle buzzsaw turret / landmines. Kid ability in Star Trek Online win? I guarantee you we're going to see that in a couple of, maybe in a year or two.
I knew it. I knew you were going to bring that up.
Look, they're too adorable not to be put into Star Trek Online.
What about the mobile bridge that Burnham was carrying around whenever?
It literally is the combination of the two things most engineers use the most often: either the giant bomb thing, the giant bomb, the placeable bomb, but it would be a movable landmine essentially, and the turrets that everybody uses in Star Trek Online. It's literally a combination of those two things. What engineer would not want that?
I mean, what engineer designed that? Probably Rom.
See, so here's the thing. Rom would unconsciously invent such a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he made a self-replicating cloaked mine, for crying out loud. So, I mean,
you're coming in really loud, Justin.
But that's the thing. They were in DS9. They were arguing over whether or not they could make the landmines cloaking, and they could, but they couldn't figure out the mechanics of all the other stuff. And Rom was talking about fucking pancakes the whole damn time. And in the middle of him talking about pancakes, it hits him
it was he was talking about him and Lita's quarters, yeah.
And he literally just goes, "What if they were self-replicating?" It's out of fucking nowhere, he did not consciously think of self-replicating mines. He didn't. So if he created the Beatles, it wasn't a conscious thing for him to create the Beatles.
Mm-hmm. But
of course, if he did create the Beatles, that would change our history entirely. Biggest UK rock band ever?
God damn.
So we broke. You got Son broke Justin and Ross.
What else you got, Son?
So we had the quote unquote biggest reveal of the episode. The anomaly is mechanical in nature, or apparently mechanical in nature.
Is artificial in nature. I don't know about mechanical yet, but yeah.
Artificial mechanical.
Well, how do I explain this? It is a mechanical structure at the center of the vehicle. Otherwise, Dr. Tuchanka would not have been able to create the little model that he did.
Right.
Just because it's mechanical does not mean it's not looking for a psychic or empathic race to communicate with.
Which is why I think the Quasons are still alive.
I don't necessarily think the Quasion thing is part of the equation anymore, but still.
Ow.
Oh. God.
Oh.
I knew I was making that pun as it came out of my mouth, and I just leaned into it, right?
Yeah.
But I honestly think that this is going to wind up being a psychic / empathic communication thing in the end. We find out, and look, I
She's
I
at
can
2,
never
man.
I can never remember that guy's name, so I just keep calling him Dr. Tachanka because that makes the most sense to me.
Ruan Tarka.
Ruan Tarka. Yeah.
Okay. Um
Or asshole.
we
Or Samus 2.0.
he knows who made the thing. At least he has a
Yes.
pretty good idea, because that's Book's kind of whole point. You have to have some kind of inkling of who made it to be able to jump off the cliffs you're jumping off of. Which makes me think not necessarily that he's the one who made it in the first place, because if he was, he wouldn't have been in a lab trying to figure out how much power the thing fucking needed to generate the stuff that it does. So, but what? Okay, Justin, that was okay.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, we have that. This was another one of those breathing episodes, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed this episode. There was a really nice balance of proper pacing and action. And then in the middle of it, we have this kind of heartfelt moment with a truly remorseful murderer, essentially, and wanting to pay penance for his crimes while also trying to help those who have been unjustly imprisoned or excessively unjustly imprisoned for their crimes, like minor crimes. And, you know, a lot of people are like, I've seen a lot of people go, what the hell was this part of the story? And I'm like, that was literally the Discovery writers putting Star Trek back into Discovery. That was literally the most Star Trek thing ever in pretty much all of Discovery. And I really enjoyed it. And this is probably going to sound bad because it's coming out of my mouth, but I don't think anybody but the Native American guy who played this character could have done this character that well.
He did do it very well.
Yeah, the guy who played Felix was amazing. I don't think anybody else could have done that as well as he did.
Michael Grey Eyes.
Because there was a sincerity there in his acting that you don't see in a lot of other people, even when they method act. And a lot of people who really liked the episode commented on that's where the episode got them, because there was like, you know, Discovery is just a fun romp in Star Trek. It doesn't really have a whole lot of Star Trek heart like it used to, but it's still a fun romp. And then all of a sudden this happens, and they're like, ugh, oh my god, my heart. Because yeah, no, like I don't know how else to say it. Star Trek is kind of back in Discovery with this, and I hope they kind of keep doing that. Then we have this problem with Book, where Book's literally starting to get the same savior complex as Burnham, and Burnham has now magically implemented the lesson that she learned from Rillick, and like literally every other person that's talked to her in the past 2 and 3 seasons. When she looks at Book and goes, and you literally know it's the words that should be coming out of her mouth, yet she never says them. You can't save everybody, Book. It's like, damn, Burnham, you're learning finally. But my God, did you just ignore all that shit in the past 2 episodes?
Of course.
Well, she was finally faced with a no-win scenario. She wants to save him, but at the same time he's saying, don't save me, I deserve to stay here, I deserve to die, I'm irredeemable.
I think she faced her no-win scenario in episode 1 of Discovery.
where she committed mutiny.
Yeah,
at her captain.
yeah.
Exactly.
But
It's
this is
either-
the
Well,
she wanted to save him, but she knew she couldn't, and accomplish her mission.
right. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
This was a lot like the Kira episode on the moon. That one moon where they were going to crack it for thermal energy. Yeah.
Without the ridiculous time crunch.
Well, if you remember, Kira ended that episode taking Booker's position.
Yeah.
She finished the guy's kiln. Guy was impressed. Then she shot it and blew it the fuck up, and she took him off the moon.
And burned down his house.
Well, yeah, she burnt down his house too. God, Kira, damn.
Yeah, she flipped the switch from revolutionary to company woman pretty quick.
And that's why Kira's DS9's best character.
And yet we have Burnham in command doing the opposite. I mean, literally at this point we have Burnham doing the Picard thing with all of the Native American guys in that one episode where Wesley and the Traveler go away. It's like, I can't force you to leave if you don't want to. And then, of course, like the Maquis forms.
Well, the Cardassians show up and stir things up pretty badly too.
Of course. It's because the Cardassians have always been antagonistic to the Federation and the Federation's borders. So there was definitely that at play. My biggest kind of what of the episode is Burnham at I get and I understand that you wanted to have this really cool gotcha bitch moment with the magistrate at the end of the episode, but you've literally told the magistrate that he has zero control over anything anymore, even his own people. It's like, when did the Federation start doing that?
Well,
you're literally going to have to resettle all of them in a place. That doesn't mean he loses the authority of his people.
He does as a refugee on the ship, but once they disembark the ship, they're on their own.
He doesn't have any authority over the prisoners anymore.
Right,
because they sought asylum.
Right.
And because it's her ship, it's because it's Burnham's ship, she chooses where they are housed.
Right. It comes across as really weird, even though I know it was supposed to be a you get what you deserve kind of moment. It's really weird to me. Like, they literally go through the whole thing. Like she makes this whole statement about his justice system and all that shit, and she literally could have taken the easy way out. Oh, they asked for asylum. I granted it. Because that's what fucking happened.
Yeah, technically
they asked for asylum and for an emergency review and asylum. I granted it because they've been locked up for petty crimes.
Technically, though,
now that they're under our care, they are also under our law, so their stuff can be reviewed.
But the place that he was magistrate of no longer exists.
No, I understand that. That's
so he's no longer a magistrate.
But he is still the magistrate of his people.
No. Okay, he's only a magistrate of a place.
Okay, technically, Justin, he is, from an anthropological standpoint, just because your home is destroyed does not mean your culture is. So in Star Trek and JJ Trek, are the Vulcans no longer Vulcans because Vulcan was destroyed?
Well,
I mean, look what happened with Nifar.
That's an interesting perspective if their home planet was destroyed, but this was just a colony.
But that is technically their home planet, though.
I think you're correct, son, that he should continue to have a leadership role with his people during their resettlement.
It wasn't a planet, it was an asteroid.
But at the same time, with no home to go back to and with them on that ship now officially as refugees, they would still be subject to Burnham's authority.
That
No,
too.
no,
Yep.
I completely understand that. My
And her point
Let her
point
finish. Let her
was
finish.
That's
my point in all this is that it seems needlessly antagonistic. It really
it
does
kinda
come
was.
across as needlessly antagonistic against.
it was, but he was being an asshole, and Burnham had to put him in his place.
Honestly, I don't think he was being an asshole.
I don't think
So-
he
Sons-
was. You got to
Yeah,
remember, this is a guy who we don't know necessarily if he was the magistrate while the Emerald Chain is in place. He says as magistrate that it was a rule that was in place while the Orion Syndicate was in control, and it worked as a governing system, so they kept it.
Yeah, but I mean, technically, this was an asteroid colony, so
It
wasn't a
doesn't
planet.
matter. It doesn't matter where it is. If it's home, it's home.
I mean, okay, but if it's
Are we going to say the Talaxian colony that exists in a fucking asteroid
Mhm.
isn't a colony worth like Neelix being in control of if he's in control of it?
I mean, it's an asteroid mining colony. You take away the mining colony, it's no longer there until they
It's no longer
resettle at another
there.
place.
It doesn't mean Neelix is no longer in control of his own people.
I mean, the
Whose
people
home that
have
used
it,
to be.
But then again, they won't be if they're in a new place. They're in control of whatever government's in charge there, wherever they resettle.
I mean,
He won't be in charge of them. It'll be whoever the government's in charge of. So wherever they're at, they'll be refugees.
Okay, so that's not necessarily true. We do have real world, what is it, correlation, I guess, here and now. The creation of Israel is a prime example of that. You have a whole bunch of people who created a brand new state and a leadership and a sovereignty that was given to those people. Even in territory
But that's not okay. But this is not what this is. It was not destroyed. That colony was destroyed. They are going to be resettled to another place, and they are under the whim of whatever the local government decides to do with them.
Justin, that's literally why I use Israel as an example. It was a bunch of Jewish people resettled into a sovereignty that was created. If they are resettled on any other planet, that planet literally has to agree to give them a space and a certain amount of sovereignty in that space.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They're under their rules. That's exactly what Burnham was planning to imply at. They don't have to do anything. They don't. Right. It's a science fiction show. They don't have to do anything.
In circles.
That literally happens right here, right now, in most cases. Okay. Most cases in Native American reservations.
This is a science fiction show. They can do anything they want. They do not have to go by real world politics. They can make up whatever they want as they go. You're trying to put a real world analogy on a science fiction show, and that does not work in Star Trek all the time.
Remember that the next time you try to make an argument about something real world in Star Trek.
Hey guys,
I generally don't, because I had to make that distinction that it's just a TV show. And
guys, let's move on to a different topic. This discussion really isn't getting anywhere. I appreciate it, but you guys are just restating the same points. What? Any other thoughts on?
The final scene between Book and the Ryzian guy. Oh, okay, so first off, like the Ryzian doctor guy, when I was watching, he seemed like a weird mix of Robert Picardo's Dr. Lewis Zimmerman, and Stamets, and Stamets, to me. And then Greg brought up that he reminds him a lot of like Dr. Sayatek, the Let There Be Light guy from DS9, with the amount of arrogance. And so Greg and I were talking about that before we got everything started, and Dr. Sayatek talks a lot about how his terraforming stuff was better than Rycian Vistas, which means he had to have at least visited Risa a couple of times. It's entirely possible that this may be a descendant of Dr. Sayatek. Especially considering he's like a scientist who is like 100% arrogant of a person on a planet that's known for, I mean, it's kind of its own Orion thing. Yeah, that's something to appreciate. But I don't know, this moment that him and Book had is both kind of, it seems kind of interesting, but it's also kind of weird at the same time.
I feel it was forced a little bit.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think this guy is trying to pull information out of Booker and about what Booker saw flying into the thing. I think that might be where that's headed, but at the same time, Booker just sees right through this guy. And all that is in Booker's head is, if this is man-made, I want revenge. I want revenge.
That's the exact look in his eyes. The second he's like, you know who did this? And his eyes are wide as hell. It's like, that's revenge right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he and sorry, son, but he does say, I know anger, and that's anger.
Anger is a very productive emotion.
Yeah.
Curious way to say that. And then he reached behind him and touched that little scar in the same place.
Because he too was part of the Emerald Chain, apparently.
I'm assuming Risa was taken into the chain.
Yeah. Under Orion Syndicate control.
Felt the weight of the chain.
Bad joke, Ross. Bad joke.
That was one of Osiris' phrases. You will feel the full weight of the chain.
Yeah, and I cringed at that too.
He's like, I cringed then, I cringe now.
But yeah, no, that was one of those moments where I'm like, okay. And then, like I said, the counselor guy seems like
Dr. Colbert.
No.
Son of a bitch.
So Ross hadn't started streaming at all, had he?
No, I've been
Ross has been
streaming.
Okay.
But guess what? My microphone was off.
Ah, well, that makes sense. So,
But we've been hearing you.
Yeah, at least we've been hearing you. That's yeah.
So excuse me while I scream profanities for a few minutes.
Okay. So
okay, Justin.
So that what's his face guy with the rim glasses, like
Kovac.
Kovac. I don't know why people keep going to him like he's a fucking therapist, because he seems more like he should be the head of like special investigations or something for the Federation, because he's doing
he's totally Section 31.
Shit way outside of his fucking wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm. He's totally Section 31.
He literally sent Tilly on the mission with the cadets. Mm-hmm. That's not a therapist thing to do.
Well, okay, remember last season, he knew all about Giorgio, knew all about Section 31, knew all about, all the Black Ops stuff. I mean, come on.
He didn't just know. He didn't just know.
He also knew about alternate universe stuff.
Right. He didn't just know about Giorgio. He knew where Giorgio was from and the history of it.
And he knew about the fucking 09 timeline, for crying out loud. I mean, this is obviously somebody from Section 31 or some new type of branch. Maybe it's not even called Section 31 at this point in the future.
Well, I mean, he's definitely not temporal investigations. That
he's better than us.
I'm gonna blow your minds.
Okay.
Gary 7.
I would accept that.
Justin's done.
I would accept that.
Kovac is an older Gary 7.
I would accept that. I would 100% accept that.
who went back in time to preserve the TOS timeline during the temporal wars.
God damn it, Ross.
The moment that he has with Culber, like they talk, he talks about having 10 minutes and all this kind of stuff. I timed most of it, and
How
it
close
seemed
was
like okay, so they only spent 5 minutes together. 6 at most. That entire scene, that entire back and forth from Dr. Culber entering his office with him there to the time the guy literally pieces out. He says, "I have a 2:00," and pieces out, is about 5 to 6 minutes of 10 minutes. When he says you have 8.5 minutes left,
him.
when he says you have 8.5 minutes left, exactly 3.5 minutes go by before the guy pieces out.
God damn it! Don't encourage this.
So I've seen a whole bunch of time comparisons and stuff. Like if you're watching The Fifth Element and the president goes, "You have 30 seconds to veto Cornelius," the guy literally makes his speech in about 30 seconds. Like exactly. So I was like, "Oh, I should time this." Nowhere near 10 minutes.
So, if that is maybe not Gary 7 per se, but maybe somebody else from his race.
Gary 7 was human.
Gary 7 was human, pulled out of time, and I don't know what, evolved essentially into the position that he had to understand the technology of stuff, and then sent back in time. At least that was the history of Gary 7.
As it was presented.
But Star Trek has a famous way of changing history whenever they see fit.
Well, I can see where you're coming from, son, as far as the timing goes, but it does make for a more dramatic scene, and it doesn't overstay its welcome, even if it is shorter than it should be.
Right. The timing thing was just a me thing. It's something I was interested in. The actual meat of that conversation, it discusses itself. Your service record is nothing special. You've been nothing amazing your entire life. So why you? Why did you get a second chance? And right now you're counseling people who won't have a second chance with their loved ones like you got. That's a heavy thing to bear. Whether or not it is a miracle, that's still something you have to bear, and you have to bear that personal guilt. Which, I don't know. Stamets was over being airlocked in 3 months. So, I don't know. This whole he hasn't gotten over it thing seems kind of a farcical to me. I understand it. I understand, dealing with trauma and stuff is a real life thing, but you're literally talking. You're literally talking about, Stamets should have more animosity to Burnham than he does. Even in the episode where he makes that fucking joke, he should, because she airlocked his ass.
And yet everyone complained when he made the joke.
I don't understand why he doesn't have more animosity. And it's he's had 3 months to get over it.
He did get everyone back. He didn't actually lose anybody.
Stamets, Colbert has
he literally talked about it during the Mitchell book.
Colbert has literally had an entire fucking year and better to come to terms with whatever the hell happened with him coming back.
Yeah, but he hasn't talked to anybody about
it.
He hasn't talked to anybody about it yet.
We don't even know that Stamets talked to anybody about it or not.
Dave flat out said they talked to him about it whenever during one of the episodes. He talked to Colbert about it.
Okay, I must have missed that. But even so, you're talking to your husband about that situation, not to the people you feel responsible about that situation. And that's a whole different storybook. So, like this, as much as this scene is very dramatic and it's just it's one of those things where I go, like, sometimes Discovery is just, I mean, it's just as
I
inconsistent as
just
TOS.
I that's why I don't dwell into it too much because I look at it like it's not really an important thing to go on with the it's not really something that bugs me to the point where it's going to drive me crazy. I mean, I just don't care, and it's part of this. It's part of the story. So I mean, if they want to talk about it, great. If they don't want to go with it, just then that's okay.
I,
Don't do it because I don't want they don't want to make it overly dramatic. If it's not going to move the story along, if they feel like it's going to move the story along, they'll add it. If not,
I think it helps that Stamets got everybody back, and that he had both Culber and Adira to lean on. The fact that he didn't lose anybody would probably speed up his recovery, so to speak.
Possibly. I as much as I love the guy who plays Kovac, I think this would have been a better thing to have between to continue those sessions between Culber and Booker. To have this kind of stuff come out between the two of them, because Booker is, I mean, Booker himself is amazing at just being blatantly fucking honest. We've seen that like this whole fucking time. And he goes to the Starfleet guy. It's like, okay. I don't know why everybody else is okay with this guy. He seems really suspect to me.
Well, Kovac isn't a member of the crew, isn't part of the chain of command, and isn't a patient.
I mean, no, yeah, that I understand myself from counseling friends. Sometimes you have to go to a counselor yourself because, holy shit, the stuff that gets leaned on you can't share with other people. So that in that way I understand, but this guy's not a therapist. I'm sorry, this guy's not a therapist. This is literally the guy that sent Tilly off on that mission with all those cadets. This guy is not a therapist.
And sent Giorgio off to her next step.
I mean, sure.
Kinda.
Yeah. Because he knew about certain things. I mean, he knew shit he shouldn't know about Giorgio.
He's Gary 7, I'm saying it.
It's like, yeah, no, like, holy shit. So, like, that...
either Gary 7 or Temporal Agent.
I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on what he is. I just still think the DMA is looking for some kind of psychic or empathic link to communicate.
I wonder if we're going to see Betazoids. Maybe say it pop up sometime for next week. They are very psychic.
Who knows?
I just want to know what the Klingons are doing in the 31st century.
See, that crossed my mind. What if this was some weird-ass Klingon experiment that went wrong?
That'd be something.
I don't know.
Because you got to remember, if the burn has affected the Alpha Quadrant, it's affected the Klingons too, which means the Klingons can't go anywhere.
It affected the entire galaxy, they said.
You can't be a warrior people anymore if you can't fucking go anywhere to conquer anything, right?
So they're clinging on.
So their culture flipped again, and instead of being farmers turned warriors, they're now warriors turned scientists and engineers to try and make space travel again for themselves, and the DMA went fucking haywire.
Oh, all right. Let's see. That's been a fun 20 minutes. Let's see.
Any
Greg?
final thoughts, son?
I enjoyed this episode. I have issues with it, but I enjoyed this episode.
Alrighty. Thank you very much. Greg, how about you?
Oh, hey, cool. So, really, you three suck. The USS Janeway, not a single mention. Wow,
I was
and
gonna
you
get
call
to
yourself-
it.
We've
you
talked
call
about
yourselves Trekkies.
it. We've talked about it how many times already? In how
No,
many
we
previous
talked.
episodes?
We talked about the Voyager J, not the USS Janeway. USS
The
Janeway.
first
is-
ship, the ship that detected the anomaly disappearing is the USS Janeway.
I thought. Whoa! Back up. Okay, so
Last two show messages.
So I wasn't watching the episode properly then, because I literally watched an opening scene thinking it was the Voyager.
No,
It was
it's
the USS Janeway.
So, and what else is the USS Janeway in? Star Trek Online.
So, point for me.
Don't forget the in whatever S to POW.
So this week I did enjoy the Star Trek Discovery Hunted Expo Facto episode. Okay, fine. I saw the Star Trek Discovery Insurrection. Is that better?
Okay, Greg.
I almost had zero qualms with this episode. I really liked it. As Sunsetter, this kind of went back to the Trek formula we're used to versus the Trek formula we're getting now. It gave us a very hardcore philosophical dilemma. Do you force yourself to save these people, or do you let them choose? So I see where Book is coming from. Like, you have to save them no matter what. It's like, do you save someone who doesn't want to be saved? So then that's the conundrum. So him and Book have that argument. But from the beginning of the episode, it's like him marking off, it wasn't the Metrons, it wasn't the Iconian survivors. He goes, it wasn't even the Q who's been around, who we haven't heard from in 600 years. I'm like, wow, 600 years with no Q. I'm like, Sun mentioned earlier off show, I'm like, what did Guinan do? So that was really interesting to hear them mention all those races, and like, we know it's not them. And so then Rowan Tarker comes on, backhand slaps Stamets with a compliment. Like, so much to admire and so much to improve. And Stamets is like, what the hell? So it was a really great dynamic to see those two. Stamets, like some point out, Stamets is basically arguing with himself. You have someone who's just as much a genius as you are, who's put in the time and energy and work. It's like, so Stamets, this isn't a Vulcan. This is human to Ryzian, almost human kind of thing. It's species in a way. You're gonna fight.
Well, see, that's the thing. If you remember watching all of the Risa episodes, like both TNG and DS9, the Rysians always kind of had this arrogance about them. They did. Like from the sports instructor that was friends / lovers with Dax,
Vanessa Williams,
all of the ladies trying to get Picard to get with them because he had a Horgon and he didn't know what it was. Rysians just have this kind of arrogance, or this arrogant air to them. So it makes sense that he would be just as arrogant to me.
So, and that, like you said, that makes sense. But it's like, again, also, like I said earlier, him giving out very Dr. Sayatek vibes. It's like, you know your shit. You know your shit doesn't stink, and you know nobody will top you. That's the arrogance he had. It's like, okay. And we got Tig back. I mean, Tig is always a win. Thank you. Yeah. So amazing for playing Jet Reno.
We literally called this last episode, didn't we? It's like if Tilly is going somewhere, we have to have either Tig back, or someone is going to have to immediately replace Mary Wiseman for the levity. And there we go. Yep. Very next episode, Tig Notaro.
Yeah.
So I appreciated Colbert being the one to acknowledge he needed help. It answers one of those questions that you never see asked. What happens when the therapist needs help?
Physician, heal thyself.
Right. So he goes on to somebody he knows helped George Philippa is like basically tells him, okay, you need that brutal in your face honesty. Here you go. So I think that helped him a little bit. It's clear kind of helped his attitude near the end of the episode where him and Paul are getting ready for bed and they have the married couple talk. It's like, hey, that was a very evasive find. What's wrong? Again, one of my favorite Star Trek couples, Hugh and Paul. But going on, I'd have to say this is my favorite Burnham episode. And I say that because she, from all the crap she's gotten from being too emotional, being the mutant.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
We've been over this. I'm variant.
No. You variant. Wait a minute. Who are you? What have you done was great?
So, from being a mutineer, too emotional. She's too quick on the gun. To this and that. This was Burnham at her commanding best. Go down and save the planet. Okay, you're the captain. Go down. You have Book with you. You delegate the tasks. So it was I would say this is an atypical Starfleet attempt at a rescue. And Burnham gets down there, gets the prisoners out, and is faced with that conundrum, like we mentioned earlier. Okay, he doesn't want to be saved. He wants to accept his own version of a punishment for a crime he committed, and in a way, tells him like, yeah, I feel that the only way I can pay for this crime is to stay behind and let my life be taken. And Burnham sitting there, pulling a Picard, if you will. Picard would have done the exact same thing. He would have left him there because he knows who are we to force you. And I love the dynamic Book presented with being the complete opposite. No, we're taking you off planet, but because Book is A, not in Starfleet, and B, her partner, the woman always wins number one in that relationship. So he was going to lose, but it was the dynamic that Burnham made one of the most captain decisions she's ever going to make. She left him there, accepted that, and got the family tree, if you will. I forgot what's called, but they got the family tree, if you will, for the Doxka family. And very much just as soon as she contacts him, it's all, Felix, can you hear me? He's all, it's headed this way, isn't it? And he accepts it right then and there. I can appreciate that Burnham was like basically let go of her Vulcan side and was just completely human in that moment. And I like I said, this is my favorite Burnham episode, hands down. And the way she handled the magistrate. Now, the magistrate wasn't being, how do I put this? It wasn't being a jerk, wasn't being confrontational. He was just being the magistrate. These were his people. But Burnham laying down the law, saying, well, they are under our protection. And like Sun said, it could have ended the argument in 5 seconds, but it's just saying, they requested political asylum. We granted it. She's the captain of the starship, has the authority to do that. But overall, though, her telling him, because like he said, he wanted to leave them for dead. And she was very much against that, even Book. So that's why she's very much angry with him. Like, you know what? They're under our protection now. You can get over it. Once you leave our ship, you're no longer under our jurisdiction. So when we find you a place, you find your own place, you're good to go. But until such time, she's basically like, piss me off and see what happens. It's all, Paul, go talk to Paul Stamets about an airlock, then come back to me.
Hey, she pulled another Picard maneuver. She tactfully said, fuck around and find out.
Exactly. So Burnham was very much more Picard and not a Kirk, which is very, very good. So overall, the episode for me was really great. The final dynamic is just Book and Tarka. I feel their interaction was forced. It made sense for Tarka to want to talk to Book regardless, because again, he said, "Oh, one of the 2 spore drive operators." That made sense for Tarka to want to talk to him, but it did feel forced because he's like, "Hi, I'm Ruan Tarka. Have a drink of the real stuff." It's like, okay, well, you just got to ruin that introduction. Book is out for vengeance. Tarka knows this, and he doesn't care. So that is going to present a problem. So Book and Tarka will be probably very much closer to the next couple episodes when Tarka figures out, oh, hey, I know the power source needed is a hypergiant star. We're going to find this power source. We're going to find out who made this. The second they find out who makes it, I wouldn't be surprised if Book jumps in his ship and takes off. And that is, that's going to present an interesting dynamic for Burnham. in the end. So
what does he expect to do when he finds the people who are able to harness the power of a supergiant star?
right, that like he said, I don't know you, but I know anger. So that was one of the that was one of those really great lines. It's like, yeah, I know anger, and it's a productive emotion. So we'll see. Once like I said, the second he finds out, Book is going to jump in a ship or fight with Burnham and be like, we need to go after them. So, as far as like I said, my favorite Burnham episode. As far as Discovery goes, it only took me 4 seasons to like more episodes than I disliked. Right now, Disco this season is carrying a 4-1 episode love-hate relationship with me. So, I didn't expect that because no Tilly, so I'm sad about that. However, no Wesley 2.0 either. So there was no Adira in this episode. I think that's why I liked it a little bit more.
See, that's having an episode with Gray without Adira is a thing that I think they should explore.
Yes.
Honestly.
And another thing that noticed, 3 bridge officers were missing. Owo, Detmer, and Harrison. They were all not there.
Yeah, you're right.
We had 3. We had the new ops, new helm, and I forgot what his position was, or tactical probably. But yeah, all 3 they were not all there. So no Adira, Owo, Detmer, Harrison's like, where did they all go? Like even though I don't like Adira, but now that 4 of them were missing of the main cast, where did you go?
Well, that's probably what happened
Anyway.
whenever either that or that's probably what happened whenever the COVID hit and they had to quickly fill in positions for a little bit.
But those are my thoughts. I like the episode, so hopefully they can keep this going.
So I just had a wild thought.
What's that?
So the DMA acts like so they first postulated that it was a black hole, right? 2 circling black holes, right?
Yes, in the first right. Mm-hmm.
And then it was we have all this data. It's acting like a wormhole.
Primordial wormhole, yes.
So what happens when we find out that what's powering this device is an artificial singularity, aka a tiny black hole?
Mm-hmm.
And it was created by a separatist Romulan faction that is led by the great granddaughter of Sela.
Oh, for Christ's sake, son. Or, look, touching on Son's point, it's a Dyson sphere in the middle with that kind of power. Harnessing a hypergiant star using
Yeah, no, at that point, yeah, that's what that would be, kind of.
Or at this point, it's the Dyson Sphere that they found Scotty on. So,
Yeah. All right, so Ross, we've all gone.
Okay,
Your
Justin,
thoughts.
the Dyson sphere was 1 AU across. Radius.
and what else was AU across? V'ger.
V'ger was
V'ger
over
was
12
AU.
12 AU, yes. And then this anomaly is what they said 4 or 5 light years wide. So yeah, no. So Ross,
an
your
AU
turn.
is at least 7 light years. It's a big artificial. Anyway. This was an incredible episode. One of the most pure Star Trek that we've seen in a while. The moral dilemma really brought me back to the best of TOS, TNG, and DS9, and even some Voyager. I have the canon reference sheet up to talk about a few points that we may have brought up. So the show opens with a hail from the USS Janeway, a Federation starship named for Henry Janeway, a bookstore owner and civic activist from the episode 1159.
So it wasn't the Catherine Janeway; it was the Henry Janeway.
It's a joke.
It's
yeah. This is just... Anyway. Interestingly, the dominant species on the station, where'd it go? The Radvek asteroid belt colony is primarily inhabited by the Akali, a people introduced in the episode Civilization from Enterprise.
And one of my closest friends.
Yep, and it's the first pre-warp species that the Enterprise ever visited. Look how far they've come.
Yep.
Subjugated by the chain.
Ouch.
Let's see. We got another ship named the T'Pau that was there with the Janeway.
That's an overused ship name.
So we got name drop for the Metrons from the Arena in TOS. The Nacine, who were that's the caretaker species.
Yes.
Yep.
Of course, the surviving members of the Iconian Empire, which is most likely a Stowe reference, which is awesome. So glad to see that.
Well, if you remember
name dropping the Q that they haven't been seen or heard from in 600 years, which is about a line with Picard.
If you remember, the Metron person said that they'd most likely contact the species, the Federation species again in 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's near that time, but not near enough to that time.
Right. Ron Tarka working with Aurelio, Kenneth Mitchell's character from the last season. Let's see. Scrolling down. We finally got mentioned that Stamets has been working to keep the spore drive from harming the Giuseppe and the mycelial realm. I've been waiting to hear that.
So it sounds like he's been successful with that, actually.
Yeah. So that rules out my original thought that the DMA was something from the mycelial realm pushing back, at least potentially. Let's see. Scrolling down, 8.5 minutes was how much time Kovic told Culver that he had. So close, but still short. The Caracal, the creature that the Ryzian doctor vaporized. That creature has not been mentioned in Star Trek before, except Star Trek Online. So we got another Stowe reference, 2 in 1 episode.
Yep. And they're cats.
We might
Perkins.
be seeing elements of Stowe's story canonized. That's pretty awesome.
See, that's the point I touched on earlier. That as much as I don't like Lower Decks does something really well is take non-canon and put it into canon very easily. And right now, Disco's taking a crack at it with Star Trek Online, and they're doing pretty well with that.
Well, and I think they did some. I think there were other references. I have to go back to look, but let's keep pushing forward.
Mm-hmm.
I've talking about Felix.
Quick question: has anyone given any thought about the bluegills?
Not really.
No.
They're more.
We haven't seen them since TNG.
Kind of.
Who take over host bodies and steal their technology.
Well, we haven't. The last thing we were left with the bluegills was that message that they sent off before they were vaporized. And no, we can't consider Stowe canon, so we can't really say that was resolved like that.
Right.
But it's possible. But why come back to the Alpha Quadrant now, of all times?
One thing none of us have mentioned, but is a really significant development, is the fact that Zora is not only expressing empathy, but now has the capacity to feel emotion.
Which was one of the things that's touched on in this short trek.
Yes, but it's significant that Zora, in addition to developing her own identity, is now growing in her sapience. which in the past has been met by anxiety and hostility by previous crews. The idea of a ship growing out of their control is terrifying and quite nearly caused the Enterprise D to tear itself apart.
Yes.
Well, see, that's the other thing here that we keep, we keep kind of going at this point, and I mean, a few people are. I don't, because the sphere data showed sentience itself before being integrated into the Discovery.
Yes.
It's just now that because of that integration, it is giving itself a voice and an action that the crew can react upon. But yeah, no, it's always had that sentience there, that self-preservation, that communication, that ability to communicate what the crew needs when it needs it from the data.
Right.
But now it's like it's full on display. She sat there and had an emotional conversation with Captain Burnham, and Burnham's like, "Oh, well, thank you for the talk, Zora." Like
in the turbo lift in private.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can see that Burnham had a concerned look on her face because of the conversation.
Concerned, surprised, but not panicked. Like
for people from 900 years in the past who just got through dealing with an AI menace run amok, and she's not freaking out. This is kind of surprising.
And as I mentioned, the Federation has had problematic encounters with intelligence, artificial life, but also plenty of good examples. But things like Nomad and V'ger and
Lore.
And well, not the Borg's different.
Lore.
Oh, Lore, yeah, definitely Lore. and of course the near miss with the androids in Picard.
Since yeah.
wasn't a near miss at all.
No, that happened.
That's like Mars is still burning technically.
No, I'm talking about the AI Federation that was almost summoned to wipe out all organic life.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that can still be a thing.
Well, at least we know it wasn't a recurring it wasn't a problem that eventually grew out of control.
That we know about.
That we know about, yes.
Yes.
Let's see. That's all of the major points from the canon list. There was a lot to take in on this episode. Burnham's exploration of her empathy and morality as it contrasts with duty was excellent to see. Contrasted with her very Starfleet point of view, and of course Booker's more roguish and wounded point of view. I think earlier on that Michael would have been more on Book's side, but now that she's the captain and she bears the weight of that responsibility, her perspective is different. So it's interesting to see that development with her.
Pre-Captain Burnham definitely would have sided with Book on that one.
Right. It really highlights how much Burnham has changed from the mutineer to the captain, and it's really good to see. I like Tarka as much as I want to hate him.
Do. Yeah, you want to hate him, but you can't. Like I said, I couldn't hate Sayatek, as arrogant as he was, but it's like I like Sayatek.
Again, this is the Louis Zimmerman vibe. I hate him because he's so fucking abrasive, but like he does the right thing in the end, and that makes him a good guy.
Yes and no. He was willing to, blow up the ship. He and Stamets. But
I wouldn't say they were willing to, but
he's so remarkably random at times. Or Saru is preaching restraint, and then he starts screaming into his face.
Okay, let me just
say it's so out of left field. He does that so often that
did anybody else enjoy Saru screaming back?
Yes.
No.
I did.
No, and here's why. The trailer made it more epic.
It did. There was more vocal effects in the trailer.
But that's
Yeah.
what trailers do. The trailers are supposed to do. They're supposed to make it seem like it's more than what it was, because we all thought, wait a minute, what's going on here? Turns out it's this
And we
And
were
if I,
led
if,
to
I
little,
may, if I may, sorry, Saru jumped out of something he told Tilly to do. He jumped out of his comfort zone.
I'm more surprised. I'm more surprised that Saru didn't flex the nail spines.
I don't know if he
Or
can
the
put
neck
those back
spines.
in without.
I don't think he can have those back.
Yeah, and once he puts them, takes them out, he has to fire them, I guess, because he would have done that before if he had that ability.
I think that's a threat response more than an actual than something he can just do. I don't know if it's voluntary or it's something that he restrains because he doesn't want to do harm, like drawing a weapon without intending to fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think he exercises that kind of restraint. But that whole just every scene with him, he steals it. He dominates it, and as much as I wanted to slap him open palm in the face, I was also rooting for him. From his first moment on the screen, it's so much to admire and improve upon. I was like, do you have no tact at all? I mean, seriously.
Then he did something that I would easily see Data doing. It's like in the middle of all this shit going on, I could see Data going to the replicator and ordering mashed potatoes and a single fucking pea, and then playing with the mashed potatoes to put the pea in the middle and go, look, this is what I'm talking about.
Interesting that he uses food to illustrate his point. It kind of reminded me of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where the dude starts carving Devil's Peak out of the potatoes.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. I very much. I was like, did somebody talk to Spielberg about this?
But the guy, as abrasive as he was also very good at reading and getting to people. Like on one hand, he has absolutely no social grace whatsoever, but he's also charming enough to convince people to do what he needs, and that's an interesting character dynamic that we don't see very often. Usually, when we get these single-minded, eccentric auteurs, you have to sand away at the rough edges before you're actually able to get them to work with other people. But this guy is more of a brute force through his own bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I lean back on that's part of the Rycian thing.
Yeah. And that's another brilliant bit of characterization. I can't recall seeing a Rysian off of Ryza before. And the idea of a Rysian scientist is something I hadn't considered. So here's this guy who clearly didn't fit in with the culture of his home, but found his niche and is very good at what he does, despite not being very good, but also being very good with people.
Very clearly, all that is his is not ours.
And he's also very good at keeping secrets.
Yes.
Because he's already got a working theory, but he's not sharing what that theory is. He's just slowly proving it with other people's help.
I want them to keep that whole hate them but like them because they're good. Sayatek, Louis Zimmerman, the Doctor at first on Voyager because he was basically Zimmerman. It's like, keep that whole we hate you, but oh my god, they're good. So don't let him turn bad.
Well, the Doctor, you warmed up to him pretty quickly because he was so vulnerable and restricted.
Yes. But I warmed up to Zimmerman from DS9 into Voyager. It's like, okay. And then Sayatek did. It's just like, just keep that going. Just let us warm up to him.
Oh, it was a really good episode, and I'm really happy with it. But both with, especially the subplot with Culber as well. Seeing him go through even more growth after his unique experience. As often as people do get resurrected in Star Trek, it's still fairly rare, as far as we know. So it's seeing him deal with that where someone like Spock and Data didn't. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's because Spock and Data are logical. They can immediately accept something like that. He was human. So it's like, that's going to affect him a little bit differently.
I mean, let's be fair. for Spock, he's had to die twice at this point. During his childhood, he basically had to mostly kill off his human half, even though his mother kept trying to cultivate it in him. Even so far as him having to go through that whole logic ceremony in the Star Trek movie, the first movie.
Seminar Kolnar, yes.
And yet he rejects it because it's V'Ger reaching out to his human half. That's never fucking explained any further. But then him dying and coming back is kind of that second death of him. So he's at this point he's kind of used to killing himself.
Okay, that's bad, but I see where you're going.
Son.
In Minecraft, excuse me. In Minecraft, he's used to killing himself in Minecraft. Okay.
Back or also appropriate term is backspacing.
Okay. Now I know.
Oh, right.
Wait. We gotta do the thing now.
But the other thing
you gotta do this thing. I was waiting for Justin to do it. No, not that thing. The everybody agrees thing. The Xbox achievement unlocked.
Well,
the other thing is that Data. It's weird to say it this way, but Data doesn't really experience death in the way that other people do. He never will experience death in the way other people do.
That's debatable. At the end of Picard, the end of Nemesis and the end of Picard very much gave Data human reaction to the point. In Nemesis, he sacrificed himself out of camaraderie and friendship for Picard. And in Picard, he
wants to die.
He wanted to die. That he said it is finite. That he has to die. That's the same as somebody accepting, the prisoner in Discovery, accepting that he's going to die.
Right. That's the close of the loop on him becoming human, or him gaining humanity. That I understand. We're talking about a character that from the beginning of the Next Generation to the end of Picard, you're talking about a character that could be turned off and turned on.
True.
And he wouldn't necessarily experience the absence. It would be as if nothing happened in between. So he doesn't necessarily die in the same way that other people do.
All right. Any final thoughts on the episode?
Yes, looking super cat.
I give it 9 out of 10 hungry baby Grogu.
God damn it, Justin.
All right,
Final thoughts on the episode.
It was a great Discovery episode that brought back the philosophical Trek we loved before and combined it with the new Trek of the stereolized storyline. This was a great
somebody who was writing over at Prodigy visited the set while they were writing this episode of Discovery that day. That's my theory.
I love it.
All right. What else are we talking about tonight?
Hawkeye.
The Witcher started today on Netflix. The second season of The Witcher. Yeah.
And The Expanse dropped today. First 2 episodes of the final season, and so far it's a hell of a ride. So if you get a free chance after you finish watching the final season, Lucifer gives us Expanse a check.
So interestingly enough, there is a Twitter handle called Netflix Witcher. This is why I brought this up. They've been posting little tidbits all the way up to the premiere of season 2. And one of them was from Freya Allen on talking about Henry Cavill. And she said, he's like a Witcher Bible on set. We're doing a scene and he's like, we should use this line from page 253 of Blood of Elves.
He's a nerd. He knows this shit. Henry Cavill isn't just Superman and
He's a
The
super
Witcher.
nerd.
He's a super nerd.
He's a super geek like us.
Yes.
No, he takes it to another level. He's not a super geek. He's a
Well-
mega
Oh,
geek.
okay. So speaking of other things we're talking about from The Witcher,
Mm-hmm.
please tell me everybody checked out Stephen Colbert's Lord of the Rings 20th anniversary rap.
Nope.
I did not.
No,
Oh
Nope.
my god,
So-
guys!
Lord of the Rings was not one of my things.
The greatest film trilogy in history. Come on.
Stephen Colbert is not on my list anymore.
Just because he's
As I said, Lord of the Rings is just not one of the, something I am excited for. Is the Harry Potter reunion coming up soon?
Really, Harry.
So
I
a couple of days
it.
a couple of days later, the Netflix Witcher account gave the opposite. So Henry Cavill was talking about Freya Allen. He says Freya Allen is a fantastic actress, and she's got a long career ahead of her. She's had such a wonderful opportunity in this season to show her talent, and it's been an amazing pleasure working with her. So basically, the little girl from season 1 is Freya Allen in this season, and like from the screenshots that I've been seeing on the Netflix Witcher Twitter account, it looks like she might start going through the process, or at least the training of becoming a Witcher without becoming a Witcher this season.
Okay, yes. Her acting talent. I've watched the first 3 episodes. Holy shit, this girl can hold her own. Like the dynamic she presents to Cavill's Geralt is amazing to watch these two interact. And that's she knows her place with him, but at the same time, he acknowledges she's independent. He gives her that freedom. So when you guys start watching, you'll see it. It is really good to watch those two work off each other. It's really good.
At least we're not collecting nudie cards. I mean, let's be honest. At least we're not collecting nudie cards of all the women in the Witcher series, right?
The first Witcher game.
No, that was the first Witcher game. The second one, they were literally portraits.
Oh, wait, the second one didn't have.
I'm pretty sure it did.
No, you
I thought
you
that
had a
was
full
third.
cutscene where before it was just kind of a. It was procedural. Each one was basically the same, and then you get a
I'm
card.
all for video games that create their own Rule 34. Thank you.
But yes,
there you go, Justin.
The dynamic between Cirilla and Geralt is really, really good this season. So far, anyway. Like I said, I'm 3 episodes in.
I'm looking forward to watching it.
Because Justin, I have the same problem Ross does, handling a child. I'm surprised my son let me watch 3 episodes of The Witcher. So I was actually able to pay attention.
I have to, if I try to sit down to watch something, I have to get up every 10 minutes or so to take care of something.
Mm-hmm. I just lucked out that every time I had to get up to take care of something, it was within visual range and earshot of the TV. So it was in the kitchen living room, so I was good.
And the wife's already gone through the Lucifer finale without me, so
Wait, whoa, time out. What?
yeah.
Ray, are you watching? Is Ray awake? Is she watching this?
No, Ray is dead by now. So my usual incentive to watch isn't there. Hey, she is a huge. What's the actor's name?
Tom Ellis.
Yeah, she's a huge Tom Ellis fan, but she's also a huge Henry Cavill fan. So I will have the incentive to watch Witcher. She has a type.
That's Leia does
I've
too.
accepted this.
Leia would leave me for Tom Ellis, but then I would leave her for Sandra Bullock. It's fair game.
No relation.
But
Watch me, Ross. Watch me.
I'm watching you. I don't see anything special.
for our viewers, at some point we will have a special Lucifer review when Ross has finally watched it.
Send the wife to a spa, get a babysitter for the kid, and I'll get through the series.
That's
No, you won't.
easy.
'Cause
No, it's
Now,
not.
will the wife?
you won't.
No. Will the wife stay at the spa for 10 hours so you can watch Lucifer? I don't know. You have to send her away for the weekend so she can spend half the day at a spa, sleep it off, go the next day.
A weekend at the spa? Hell yes, I'd do that. She needs it. She needs that time away.
But I stress, guys, Justin, I know you know. I know something you think. Just watch the Colbert Lord of the Rings rap. They have the entire cast. They rap in Elvish. Hugo Weaving raps in Elvish.
Oh.
Sorry, me and Colbert don't see eye to eye anymore, principally. So,
Speaking of, are there any updates to the Acta list this week?
sort of. I mean, this is.
Hold
I mean,
on.
the updates to the Acta list are quite laughable this week.
Okay.
I agree. That should happen to Activision Blizzard at this point.
In Minecraft.
No, in real life. Like, I want other companies to do that to Activision Blizzard. Because they're fully legally capable of doing that. And that's not a threat. That's what companies do all the fucking time.
I don't give a shit. You cannot wish death on anybody during stream because that will fucking get us banned.
I'm
Don't do it.
I'm not wishing
You
death.
just did. You
I'm
just
not
said you
wishing
want him
No, on
dead.
the company.
I'm
Said
not-
Activision Blizzard, the company.
I'm
Yeah,
not wishing
company.
death. I'm not wishing death on a person, Mitt Romney. A corporation is not a person.
According to the Supreme Court, they are Citizens United.
And the Supreme Court has been wrong before.
Well,
They've overruled
yeah.
themselves.
But Sun has said that in the context of she wished someone would just destroy these two companies.
I wish
finally.
another company, or I wish several other companies would destroy Activision Blizzard. Hostile takeover, whatever. But yeah, no. So Activision Blizzard stock continues to tank. That's good news. So the laughable part is the Activision Blizzard COO released their first ever representation report. Okay.
In regards to what?
It's hard to explain because it is just filled with so much corporate speak.
Okay.
But it basically starts off by citing undeniable frustration with the organization around our progress on and response to workplace concerns, end quote.
Oh, Jesus. Mary Jesus.
Again, that's why I said this was laughable. And as much as we're holding Activision to the flames with all this stuff going on, we have to talk about somebody else who's kind of, at this point, higher on the totem pole of being a skeezy, underhanded company.
Oh, Walmart?
No, Riot Games.
Oh.
So, for those of you who weren't aware, several Blizzard superstar developers left Blizzard to go and form Riot Games to make their League of Legends stuff. And that's been a shit show for fucking years. And in
Stop them from making a
2019,
Netflix series.
2018, 2019, they actually were taken to court by several women employees complaining against the company. Nobody's really been sitting there and watching all the stuff going on, but that legal proceeding has been stalled all the way to this year. It is still that legal proceeding is still stalled at this point because Riot Games has refused to turn over stuff. Even court-ordered stuff, they've refused to turn over, or
That's
just simply
being-
not
that's-
turned over.
They can't. That's being held in contempt at that point. Like they,
Yeah, that's the thing. They've not been held in contempt yet.
wow.
And during all of this stalling and stuff, they've said fuck all, which means people have ignored the fact that this is still going on. And come to find out, they've been paying off the complainants in undisclosed amounts to make them drop their claims from the lawsuit. So I don't know about Mr. Kotick and him being over there at Activision Blizzard, but it seems like Riot is doing better at keeping shit under the rug than you are, Mr. Kotick. And yeah, no, this is an industry-wide problem, and it has been for a while.
Yeah.
And to think at one point in my life, I was naive enough to think the gaming industry was like grandma's boy.
We all were. We all were. But then adulthood comes around and kicks you in the balls a few hundred times a year.
This
All
is
right.
why I say the best thing to do is invest in indie devs and indie reviewers, because they're at least going to be honest with you. Most of them will be honest and upfront with you about what's going on. And in the case of the developers, they don't have the starry eyes that a marketing team does to monetize every fucking thing.
Well, except I just watched the whole thing, independent documentary about a bunch of independent developers on Roblox being just as big as assholes as big game devs.
Don't get it twisted. There are plenty of quote unquote indie developers who want to do nothing but make money from whatever.
Well,
the hell
I
they
mean,
make.
Roblox
yeah.
is not an indie game.
Well, but the developing teams are. The ones that are developed games off of Roblox are the independent teams and independent developers.
Third parties can develop stuff for Roblox, kind of like how you can make a Minecraft server, like a game's Minecraft server.
Yeah, that's all user-generated content right there.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted. There are people who want to make money from video games. Like the guy who went after Jim Sterling for $15 million is the prime example of that shit. Like there are development studios right now, like the people making Earth 2, who are doing nothing but fucking scamming people.
Yeah,
In a
Sterling's
giant
laughing
fucking
all the
pyramid
way to the
scheme.
bank now.
But typically, when you find an indie studio, and an indie studio that isn't lying to you, they're making a genuine and heartfelt project that is going to be amazing. Like It Takes Two, which is why I'd rather see them pick up It Takes Two, even if they don't have the rights to it anymore because they abandoned it, just to fuck with Take-Two Interactive.
All right. Thank you, son. Let's round things out with a bit of an upbeat topic. We spoke a bit about it during the pre-show, but let's bring it up again now. Last week, something we completely overlooked was the new trailer for Sonic 2.
Yes.
Oh, I thought we
And
were going
I thought we talked. Well,
I thought we were going to talk about the LeVar Burton interview with Rolling Stone.
no.
I don't know much about it. Can you give us a TLDR?
So the long and short of it, the
Calm
long
down.
and short of it is that LeVar Burton gave an interview to Rolling Stone magazine, who asked him about his character Geordie LaForge, right? And he said, is there anything that you change about Geordie LaForge? And LeVar Burton said he'd get laid.
I already told her before the show we weren't going to cover this topic because it's drama.
And so he starts listing like this whole thing, and then goes into this weird thing about unconscious bias and race and all this stuff, like conveniently forgetting that Barkley was treated the same exact way as a nerdy character that couldn't get a girl. And Of course, Bounding into Comics does what they do. They play on that drama and all kinds of stuff.
I don't want to
So
talk about this. This is what Carlos really supposed.
you don't
I'm not. I'm not. No,
you
I
don't
said we
have
weren't
to.
going to do it. I
You
said we
don't
were
have
not going
to.
to cover this.
You don't have to talk about it.
Why are you talking about it?
I asked
You-
her for
I
a
said-
TLDR, and
Yeah.
that's what she's giving.
I said you don't have to talk about it, Justin. So Bounding into Comics covers it, and then
I'm out. Good night.
LeVar Burton gets this beautiful idea that he should be adding Bounding into Comics on Twitter to post a correction, which contradicts literally his own words from the Rolling Stone article. And of course, Bounding into Comics pounces on it immediately because it is contradictory. And yeah, it turns into this giant kind of Twitter drama of LeVar having backed himself into the corner. And I mean, I don't care for Bounding into Comics, but they had the point in the beginning. You know, he's talking about something that is plainly contradictory to what we see in Star Trek.
I don't care. That's why I said we shouldn't talk about it. It's stupid.
Justin, calm down,
didn't
man.
I didn't say you had to talk about it, Justin.
And I said we weren't bringing it up. Why did you just decide to do it anyways? We already talked about it before the show, and I said no. This is not the type of stuff we should be bringing up. If it is, I'm not going to be a part of the show anymore.
Okay, Justin.
That's all there is to the story. It's done. We're going to move on. I was trying to end this on a better note, but anyway, Sonic 2.
Yes.
Have you guys see? I know Greg saw the trailer.
Yes.
I know Son saw it. Justin, did you see it? Well, let's hear about it. What'd you
Robotnik.
think?
That's what I was trying to end the positive. I wanted to talk about Robotnik, and then had to throw the thing that I said I didn't want to talk about because I
Talk
knew it
about
would bring the
Robotnik
mood
then,
down.
man.
Talk about Robotnik.
Oh my God, Robotnik is Jim Carrey classic, man. Oh my God, that's the Jim Carrey, the fucking Riddler that we all knew and loved, the crazy, kooky, nutty, and yes. Oh,
I don't know
yes.
though. I mean, this Robotnik isn't really that good. He's not fat.
Not yet. Yeah, Jim Carrey's been known to put the weight on.
Yeah, he doesn't
Or they
quite
just
fill
put
out
him in
the egg of the Eggman role yet.
Or they can put him in a fat suit, which I do see maybe happening. I mean, my God, they got the pumpkin thing or the flying clown copter, whatever the fuck it's called from the game, the clown copter. There you go. Got the clown copter.
What do you guys think about the introduction of Tails and Knuckles?
Tails was-
Well,
Tails was handled well at the end of the first movie. I liked it.
Tails looks like Tails should, which is surprising considering how, I mean, I'm happy they're actually, taking great pains to make sure the characters look like the video game counterparts and not whatever the fuck they tried to do with Sonic the first time around. That was... No. Huh. That was
And
just,
Knuckles?
wow. Knuckles, actually, same thing, because it's like they were actually, because that was the biggest thing that people had concerns with. The biggest thing that people had concerns with, like, oh God, what are you going to do to Tails and Knuckles? Because, I mean, we saw what they did to Sonic the first time, and they introduced it. I haven't heard anyone complain, so.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody's going to complain because they fixed Sonic. Then that leads us to obviously see Tails and Knuckles are going to look like their video game counterparts. Because I can tell you right now, if nobody bitched,
The only thing they got to do.
we were going to see a
Go ahead.
Knuckles that looks like Sonic.
The only thing that they haven't quite. Robotnik looks good, but they got to make him the fat Robotnik eventually because that's just his character. He's the big fat roly poly.
There's more than
Robotnik
one
with
Chaos
the big mustache.
Emerald.
True.
Well, unless they go Sonic for Hire, in which is just him running around in his socks and underwear all the time.
That would
So-
actually be hilarious.
I would like to see this go a few movies. I don't expect 7, to be perfectly honest, but this is giving us a chance to dive into Chaos Emerald. Robotnik probably gets his hands on one. We're going to see a classic course make its debut here, with Sonic bouncing out the spikes and going after the Emerald. So it's feasible that they could throw in, a couple of Chaos Emeralds every so often. Probably get 3 more movies in total, including this one. So maybe a quadrilogy, if you will.
Well, here's the question. If we do get another movie, are we going to get the other characters? Are we going to get Amy? Are we going to get Big the Cat?
Well,
And most importantly, are we going to get Rouge?
are we going to get Metal Sonic?
I'm
I
I'm just
see
asking
Metal
about
Sonic
the furry
happening.
bait here.
I think if we get a third movie, I see Amy coming in. Because like you said, you couldn't have a Sonic sequel without Tails. Throwing Tails in without a post-credit scene, just throwing Tails in at the very end was smart. You wouldn't have had fans, right? Because there would have been like fans like, oh, I missed that. So I foresee them coming in the third film. But
If they don't come in this one,
my question is that we'll get a Metal Sonic, like Justin just said. Robotnik, if we get a third one, I think that would be prime to bring a Metal Sonic, would be the third film. But the reason I said a quadrilogy is because Knuckles is going to end up teaming up with Sonic. That's just how they always become friends. They're going to battle Metal Sonic. There's one more foe, and that's Shadow. So they have I don't want them to pull like Godzilla versus Kong. Give us Metal Sonic. They team up, take it down, and their Shadow. No. And I love Godzilla versus Kong. So I foresee at least bare minimum 2 more films where we get Metal Sonic, the rest of the crew and the friends, and then we get Shadow.
What about that sparkly one from Sonic Forces?
Yeah. Do we really want to show that game?
Brian, who really didn't fit with the model.
Are we really?
That one.
Son, are we through this discussion? What do you think?
I think we're primed for a Sega Cinematic Universe.
I need a Sega soundbite.
I mean, you've already got a real world in which Sonic has kind of invaded from his own world.
Mm-hmm.
So how long until Golden Axe invades?
Oh my god!
And oh god! And see, Sonic
don't want your goddamn ass wine.
And see, the thing with Sonic is, Earth was not the first planet he was sent to by his caretaker. She sent him off to another world, and according to his map, Earth was like number 3, and then the Mushroom Planet was right after. So they set up. They set up all these worlds where the Chaos Emeralds would be. So clearly, Robotnik either gets the emerald from the Mushroom World or under the planet that was on Sonic's map.
So we're setting up we actually are setting up a Sega Cinematic Universe because Phantasy Star was a Sega thing.
Oh.
We're talking about multiple planets here, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right. I think I still need to watch the Sonic movie. I haven't yet. Though I was impressed by what I heard from the reviews.
Okay, this is actually a movie you could sit down with your son, and he should sit and watch it with you because my kid did. So, hoping that translates to you.
We'll see. All right, let's wrap up this show. We've been going for about 2 hours now. So, what have you guys been watching this week, Justin?
Expanse season 6, and it's starting off with a bang. I know Greg said he tried to watch it and he couldn't get through the first couple of episodes, but trust me, that's everybody's problem. Just push through and you'll be fucking hooked. Just don't get attached to many of the cast because, yeah, it's the Expanse. They like to go killy willy. Well, no, they some of them don't survive long. Let's see. What else? Watched the second part of the He-Man reel. That was actually surprisingly good. Spider-Man No Way Home. Got to see that one. Which I hope it by the new year, we'll be able to finally review that and Ghostbusters with everybody. Which, Ghostbusters, you can actually watch with your kid too. It's not that bad. It really isn't. Nobody dies. Well,
Nobody dies.
again. But anyways, but yeah, other than that, yeah, that's been basically it. Other than Discovery, Hawkeye, which was amazing. No Doctor Who this week since they're on hiatus until the Christmas Eve episode.
New Year's Day.
New Year's. Is it New? I thought it was Christmas.
Yeah.
New Year's Day.
The special is New Year's now.
Okay, New Year's Day. And what else? What else was there? What else? That's the only thing I'm thinking of right now because my mind's drawing a complete blank.
It's only been 2 hours, Justin. You usually don't do this until after 4.
It's been a long week.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Greg, what you been watching this week?
Oh, quite a few things since there's no school and I don't have to. I was panicking that I had to do essays, but I didn't. I completed my rewatch of Cobra Kai, ready for season 4.
That's what I started on. Thank you.
I completed my rewatch of Camp Cretaceous again, just because of season 4 for that one. Watching The Rookie, which we don't get that again till New Year's. And then, of course, Witcher season 2. Like I said, I'm 3 episodes in. Very, very, very good. I love the show. And you guys will too when you get the chance. But yeah, so a lot of rewatches and new ones being the Witcher. Oh, God, what else came out? Masters of the Universe. Watched that part too. Thank you, Kevin Smith. I know you don't watch this, but thank you. But yeah.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Son, how about you?
So I kind of fell into another rabbit hole.
Oh God.
So there's a DIY channel called Studson Studio, and this is a guy who makes model kits out of all kinds of stuff.
I've seen him.
Yeah. So I started with him making a scale model, well, sort of scale model out of trash of Hal's moving castle.
Ooh.
So yeah, he literally makes Hal's castle out of just odds and ends of stuff that are around his house, like trash,
And she's not wrong. If once you start watching this, you will not be able to stop. It's like watching Pimple Popper or any of the other YouTube rabbit holes that you get into. Once you just you know you've watched it. You know you've watched it by the reaction.
I know I've watched it. I watched for way too long. No more.
So what hooked me into subscribing to the channel was he made the clock tower from Majora's Mask.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I posted in your server that you didn't
watch.
You
did.
So that's a thing that happened. Cole McGinnis is the guy who does sea shanties on YouTube. He posted a Christmas song this week, or a Christmas shanty this week, which I also posted in your server, Ross. And then Triangle Studio, again, as posted in your server, Ross.
Yes.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
Did an hour and a half documentary covering the DLC and the cut content, the production of the Honest Hearts DLC,
which is also in my server.
And so that's
we really should start using the what we are watching slot on our Trello and start dropping those in there throughout the week. Just fun little things, so that way the audience get the links to them.
So so I watched that mostly on YouTube. Other than that, like Discovery, obviously, I've been playing Warframe this week because the new war dropped this week, which has been their 3-year-long anticipated end of the Lotus storyline thing. And it finally dropped this week, and the quest. Okay, so they said the quest would be like the longest quest that they've ever had, and it's true. It has some pacing issues. Oh my god, does it have pacing issues? But the story is pretty decent. It definitely seems like the lead up to the Duviri paradox, which was the second thing that they teased before they could even get the new war out, which is par for the course for digital extremes. So I really haven't watched all that much, honestly, because I've been doing the Stowe thing to get the Eisenberg class ship from the winter event.
I hate how they make you grind for the winter event ships now. You didn't really have to, do much. You just had to do like I think like an obstacle course, and then that was it.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
That's still a grind.
That's still the. I mean, that's still one of the options. What they did is they increased the activities that you can do to get the little daily reward. Like you can literally go Klingon ice fishing and get the daily reward.
That's my favorite event.
Exactly. Yeah, so I'm still doing that. Destiny 2 just launched their winter event, and I haven't logged in yet, but I really want to log in and see if the new Sparrow is a do all the things and you'll get this little, mount, because it's literally the engine from the Polar Express. It's the train engine from the Polar Express. I want that mount. I'm sorry, I want that thing. I want that Sparrow. So there's that.
The strangest Christmas movie I've ever seen.
Okay. So speaking of that, I have headcanon. I have a headcanon for the Polar Express. Okay. Tom Hanks is like all his fucking roles in the Polar Express, right?
Yeah.
So remember the Green Mile?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the beginning and end of the Green Mile is old ass Tom Hanks recounting his time as being the death row guard to this old woman in the nursing home, right?
Right.
Headcanon is that he is literally relaying this same exact story, but he's the kid from the Polar Express, which is why he is all the characters.
This is going into territory that Home Alone Macaulay Culkin is Saw kind of theory.
Because if something happens in your childhood and you don't necessarily remember the faces of the people who were there at the time, you will push kind of yourself as an image onto those characters. So old ass Tom Hanks from the Green Mile is also relaying the Polar Express to the lady as part of his childhood, because he narrates the beginning and ending of the Polar Express too.
I don't get the point of that movie at all.
Oh, here we go.
No, I'm not ranting. I'm just...
The point of the Polar Express is to hold the spirit of Christmas in your heart.
Hey, I'm an old man and I can still hear this bell ring.
Hence the bell. Yeah, that's the point of the bell. Like, he literally went on a journey that solidified the spirit of Christmas, and like the conductor says in the movie, this is that crucial moment to you, whether you believe or you don't.
Okie doke.
Aren't you glad I'm here to explain all this stuff?
Anything else this week, son?
Let's see. So one of my adopted sisters, because online family, has gotten me into playing, literally bought me and has gotten me into playing a Phasmophobia. So that's a thing that happened this week. They find it like I don't understand why they have such fear of this game. 'Cause it's like, look, I'm just going to go in and go into this room where the ghost is supposed to be. And I'm just going to get myself killed doing this thing that we're supposed to do for the reward. And typically I usually do die. And it's like, why are you guys so afraid? This is just like, I mean, just go in. What are you afraid of?
Wow.
So, yeah.
All right. Thank you, son. As for me, my usual YouTube stuff, a lot of lore videos for Battletech, 40K, Halo, Destiny. Lot of games that I enjoy but don't have time to play. Wife and I have been going through Young and Hungry recently. Nice to sit down and just watch something dumb for a little while and laugh a little bit.
I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
realize there was a porn called that. I have to go check it out now.
It is a very horny show, that is for sure. Betty White was in a recent episode. It ended with her and the main character enjoying a male stripper on Valentine's Day.
Isn't that a great gilf at this point?
What?
Isn't that a great gilf at this point?
Yeah, she's a great gilf at this point. She's about to turn
Betty
100.
Betty White turns 100 on January 17th.
Yeah, she was in a show about being old when I was a child.
Mm-hmm. One of the few people on the planet who is older than sliced bread.
But Betty White is going to be as old, or if not older, than Methuselah. Take my word for it.
The woman is just too stubborn to die. Respect.
For those of you who are unaware, Methuselah lived, 199 years? So almost 200 years?
Something like that. Might have lived longer if not for the flood.
So yeah.
That's been my week. Thank you guys very much. It's a show tonight. Got a little tense there. Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah, sorry, we've had a long-standing rule that we don't cover anything founding into comics. I thought that was well understood. I'm going to make sure that's totally
What's
I
that,
hope you
Justin?
guys
Sorry, you
had
broke.
a-
Oh, sorry, Justin broke up. You want to say have a good night? Appreciate that, Justin.
I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend and a good week to follow. We'll be back next week. It's going to be a bit of a different show next week, if it does happen. It is Christmas Eve after all, but it will be the second anniversary of the passing of this show's founder, George Silsby, who passed away from pancreatic cancer.
For next week's show, I'm doing it.
You're breaking up badly, Justin.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, for next week's show, I think we should definitely do a tribute to George. That much is coming. Maybe have a little bit of fun in his spirit. Because, I mean, it's George.
Yeah.
What would he do?
was
He would
unique, and I
have
look
fun
forward
on
to-
Christmas Eve.
He was a different individual, and I look forward to talking about him. We talk about him enough on this show as it is. George Theory, case in point.
Oh wow, okay, this is one hell of a Florida man story.
We'll get to it.
Mhm.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll look forward to see you next week. Justin, where can people find you?
Twitch TV _Sepper.
Son?
Twitch.tv/Sunciel. I stream typically on Sundays and Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Central.
Greg, where can people find you?
Twitch.tv, Mongoose Gaming 88. I stream Wednesdays and typically try to do Saturdays and Sundays.
And if you're watching over on Twitch, on my Twitch, you're already in the right place. Twitch.tv/live_love_play. I play turn-based strategy games, and I also paint minis like this one. That is pretty much done. We've about finished it this week.
Blur.
Yes, I know. There we go.
There, got it.
You need to get you a white piece of paper or something to hold in the background behind those things, so that way you can get it to autofocus.
Yeah, I've been working on those for the past few weeks, and I'm
Good.
so happy they're finally done. Let's see. Stay tuned for our Florida Man segments. But if you are departing tonight, until next time, remember to live, to love, and to play every day. Son.
And remember, sweeties, you are loved and appreciated by just your being you.
Play us out, Justin. The Boom.
Yeah, I had to do that. My strip lights are not working right now for some reason. I think I had to get a battery for the remote or get it paired to my phone. So I'll work on that later. Yay!
All right, son. You said he had a good one for us.
No. I mean, I'm going to leave the good one for you. I said this is one hell of a Florida man story.
Okie doke.
Yeah, so, quote, I'm tired of this baby. Florida man frustrated over cancellation of Comic-Con trip, accused of beating infant son to death.
Oh.
Oh no!
Away for
No!
life.
We don't. No!
I thought Florida Man was supposed to be funny.
Why? No. I mean,
Okay,
why?
here's something to balance that
I'm
out.
going to hug my son now.
Yeah. Florida man kicked off United Airlines flight for using a thong as a face mask.
Yes.
That's
what we need.
That's the story that I waited for you guys to have.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a birthday
Florida
party tomorrow
man.
for my kiddo, so I'm going to hop off, guys. Had a
good night,
fun
Greg.
show, and I'll see you guys next week.
Florida man, funny Florida man, funny, haha.
Florida man deported back to U.S. after hijacking a plane with the intention of kidnapping the world's greatest bastard Castro under the guise of delivering him a pizza with a Pizza Hut disguise. Instead, crash landing on Cuban beach.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, how is that even?
I mean, he had good intentions, just holy shit.
His name, Cotton Hill.
Of course it was.
I'm kidding.
Florida man shot after breaking into a home with a flower pot.
Florida woman with machete acting erratically in Winn-Dixie throws feces at deputy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good God. Florida woman charged with poisoning boyfriend's drink, quote, because he wouldn't shut the fuck up, end quote.
Okay. Bit of an escalation there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a few steps she could have taken in between. Oh, too much Florida man's poop in Hollywood Harrison Street Beach to go swimming, health agency says. It's a scatological night on Florida man.
Really?
I hope this Florida man goes to jail for a very, very, very long time.
No, not another kid.
Florida man shoots 600-pound pig in the face numerous times because, quote, it squeals too much in the morning, end quote.
I would go to jail over killing a pig.
I mean, it is technically animal abuse.
Yeah.
People kill pigs and harvest them all the time.
Yeah, but we usually do it, quote, humanely by slitting their throat, not shooting them in the face repeatedly.
Let's see, that's 3 more posts about the thong mask.
Oh my God.
Let's hear it.
Drunk Florida man smashes into 11 cars in a hospital parking lot.
Damn.
Florida man dark this week.
It's
Florida
Christmas.
man arrested on DUI charges after crashing into a McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. It's Christmas. Florida man is always going to be dark around Christmas.
People go nuts this time of year, that's for sure. Florida man catches Publix on fire with lighter fluid he bought from the store.
What an idiot.
Oh, here's a kind of happy one. Florida man, newspaper writer, will publish your gripes for the made-up holiday Festivus.
I didn't give him a call.
There you go.
Oh my God. Florida man drives Mustang convertible off the top of an 8-story parking garage. Lands convertible upside down, but still manages to run away.
And that's why you wear your seatbelt, kids. Well, this is a mouthful. Nah, that's a bit too dark for me, I think.
Wow.
What?
This is a multiple state story.
Oh, God.
Florida man uses rebar pole to fight Carolina man who hit a woman in a North Carolina park. And now that's the actual hero Florida man.
Florida man, former U.S. Senate candidate, first Maine resident to catch COVID, found dead in a hot tub after being sued for pulling gun on a former aide during a cryptocurrency disagreement.
Jesus Christ, you were right. That is a mouthful.
Yeah.
Whew.
Florida man used flamethrower to settle a parking dispute.
Yeah, we covered that last week, didn't we?
Posted 3 days ago.
I'm sure
Florida man arrested for throwing sausages at his.
The flamethrower thing happens quite a lot in Florida. So, we've probably covered one similar before.
Sausages.
Oh, that's what next week's Super Geeks is going to be. Sausage Fest.
Oh yeah, that I don't know. Did we cover this one last week?
I don't know.
Florida man arrested in a string of catalytic converter thefts after police watch him in the act. There's the bedazzled eyebrow Florida man who pleasured himself with the pickle.
And I'm at the woman who broke the sink in the bathroom, getting lucky.
Oh,
Broke
okay.
the sink
Here's
in the
one.
bathroom while getting lucky.
Here's one. So, Florida man catches shark. Florida man gets shark stolen by bald eagle. Of course, because it's a bald eagle, he can do nothing about it.
That's hilarious.
And I'm going to find a video to wrap things up for this week.
Oh.
This is from the subreddit There Was an Attempt.
And I just noticed
I
in
saw it
chat
earlier today, and it's perfect for...
Just noticed in chat that Brenda said we were all freezing over on Facebook, and I don't think we're freezing anywhere else. It must be a Streamlabs thing, because that doesn't run off of my connection, thankfully. That's a Streamlabs, StreamYards. Or Facebook, because Facebook's been having issues all day.
Facebook has been having issues since the Amazon server thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when AWS went down for a day, yeah, that was really fucked up because I put an order in for something and it didn't clear till after it didn't process after the package was actually delivered.
Yikes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it got through the payment processor and everything was fine, but it never updated on the website. So I'm surprised the order went through at all.
Mm.
So much it's been like the public facing AWS.
I'm just glad I was conveniently ignorant of the internet that day. I just watched Twitch, and I didn't have any problems with Twitch all day that day.
I always exclusively stay on Facebook all day, even though I keep the side chat window open, messenger open in case somebody needs to get a hold of me. I'm mainly on Discord.
Mm.
All right, I'm not finding it over on there was an attempt, but I think I also saw it in Sudden Chaos. Hopefully the video hasn't been pulled because it was really something.
It might have
Might
been
have
pulled.
been.
I know the Reddit mods for different subreddits have gotten quite quick to pull stuff down that they may consider not even against TOS, just against personal ideology.
A lot of it has to do is
Anything-
because they are concerned about 280 getting pulled, because if that happens, the website host can be held liable for what users post. So they're working very quickly to, try to stay on that in case that does become a thing that, they're ahead of it.
All right, got it.
Okay, let's
Yep.
see this Sudden Chaos. Hopefully it has sound.
No sound. Well, yeah, it does have sound. I'm not sure how.
Are
good
you
that
on
sound is.
Chrome? Are you on Chrome?
Yes, I'm on Chrome.
You should be able to share sound. Just look for the little box under share.
There we go.
No sound.
There's not any sound in the video anyway.
Oh, let's see. What the fuck?
So he's pumping gas and decided to light a cigarette, and yeah.
No, dude was pumping gas, stepped away, and a random guy next to it pulled the thing out, lit it on fire, and tried to blow up the car.
Oh,
But
okay.
fortunately, there are apparently a lot of employees at this service station and a lot of fire extinguishers. And they do exactly what they're supposed to do.
Well, it seems
Look at
like
it.
the fact that there are so many on hand for such an event makes me think that this is something that has happened before. I mean, there's every gas station now has at least that emergency stop for all pumps at the
Once the
building.
fire started, once you get a gas fire started, it's
Sure.
hell to get it to stop.
Sure, but you at least have to you at least have to stop the pump itself to stop the
Yeah.
possibility of the back explosion.
Where did they say that happened?
It doesn't say. Oh, apparently it was a Chinese station.
That explains all the people then.
Hmm.
Because they still do the full on service stations there. So
There are a few places here in the States that still do that too.
it also explains why they're so quick to deal with people being arsonists and whatnot. Because that's probably a common occurrence over there.
Yeah, that guy's going to lose a few points in social credit.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
All right, that will wrap up our Florida Man segment for the week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Hope you have a good weekend, a good following week, and a Merry Christmas.
And thank you. Come again and have a great night.